Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This will be my brand new Avengers Doomsday Thor video. Chris Hemsworth seems like he's posting farewell videos saying goodbye to the character. Everybody wondering what's going on. Are they not doing Thor 5 anymore? Why was Thor crying? Are they finally going to answer that? There's just a ring of finality to what Chris Hemsworth is saying, and while he posted this in the last day on his personal YouTube channel, Marvel posted more Thor and Loki remembrance videos honoring those characters as brothers together, saying, "The sun will shine on us again, brother," as if they're finally going to pay off that line from Avengers Infinity War. So if you're brand new to the channel, we'll explain what's going on, why they're posting this, why it seems like there's some coordinated effort behind the scenes between Chris Hemsworth and Marvel as this Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars years start heating up. Anytime things feel like they're getting super weird like they are right now with this, it's because Marvel is about to do something big. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Obviously, they're trying to send the character out with some style. So I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on, even if Marvel is trying to be kind of mysterious about it, along with Chris Hemsworth. But if you didn't see earlier this week, like just recently as of me posting this video, Chris Hemsworth posted a video to his personal YouTube channel, which plays kind of like a greatest hits remembrance video that you see on DVD special features like Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame did a version of this for Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow when they kill those characters off, or in the case of old man Captain America, sent them off into the sunset, into retirement basically, to their going off because they knew they were going to be coming back anytime soon. Funny thing about that, we have finally reached sometime soon and they're all coming back in different ways. But as part of Chris Hemsworth's video that he posted, he said, "Playing Thor has been one of the greatest honors of my life. For the last 15 years, I've held Mjolnir and then Stormbreaker as the god of thunder, but what made it truly special was sharing it with all of you. Your passion, your cheers, and your love for this character have meant everything to me. Thank you for making my journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe unforgettable. Next up, Doomsday," as in Avengers Doomsday, then signed Chris Hemsworth because it was he himself who wrote these words.
"No fears, no regrets. Part of the journey is the end."
So does that not read like somebody who's trying to say his farewell to the character because they're probably going to kill him off during Avengers Doomsday? Easiest way hands down to make Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom seem like a credible threat that could take on anybody from the MCU is to have him kill one of the most powerful characters from the MCU, one of the most powerful Avengers. So it does seem like they're doing the same thing that they did for Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, for Captain America, for Black Widow during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, where they're basically trying to hype up the character, and that's probably also why he was the first during Chair Watch. Like, they really want to focus on the character big time to pay off the really big Ned Stark moment where they kill him off in an unexpected way. The character that you never expected them to kill off, boom, they kill him off. Now it almost feels like the Deadpool and Wolverine "Why was Thor crying" scene is going to be a bit of a reverse during Avengers Doomsday. Like, why is Deadpool crying over Thor's body? The actual funny answer to "Why was Thor crying," that scene during Deadpool and Wolverine, is that Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds actually said that they just threw that scene in for comedy, and they're like, "We'll figure it out later." So it wasn't like Kevin Feige told them to include it in there for Avengers Doomsday purposes. It was just something that they intended to eventually pay off during some future Deadpool-related movie, but it was meant more as part of Deadpool's journey, less as part of Thor's journey. The idea that Deadpool was aspirational to become an Avenger, Happy denied him, but said, "Maybe someday we'll keep you on our list. We'll, check you out in the future. Maybe you could be an Avenger at some point." But you probably saw the interviews after the movie came out that Ryan Reynolds started doing, talking about Deadpool with the Avengers characters. Like, the whole idea of the character is that you should never let him be on the Avengers. Like, Ryan Reynolds never wanted him to actually attain Avengers level because that would be like the end of the character. The whole idea is that Ryan Reynolds doesn't want to give Deadpool the one thing that he wants the most. This is a big trope of all kinds of movies, drama movies, big superhero movies, comic book movies of any kind. So at some point during the next Avengers movies, they wanted to tease that Deadpool would become friends with Thor, but that doesn't mean that the Russos are actually going to use that scene because the Russos had nothing to do with Deadpool and Wolverine, so they're not really obligated to pay that scene off.
I haven't seen Dr. Ant in the Quantum Burst of Madness.
When it actually comes to Marvel killing Thor off during Avengers Doomsday, honestly, I think that's probably one of the easiest possible things they could do to actually give the character a really strong send-off, a really strong moment after what happened with the critical response to Thor Love and Thunder. They basically did the same thing with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, ending with the Logan movie during the Fox era of the X-Men movies. Hugh Jackman, amazing as Wolverine during all of his tenure during all the X-Men movies, but you remember a couple movies that he did, like Wolverine Origins, not quite as strong as some of the other movies. He had played the character for a very, very long time, so what was like the strongest thing they could do after they'd already done so much with the character, so many different types of movies, solo movies, big team-up X-Men movies, eventually you get to the point where like the last big twist for the character you can have is to kill him off, which they tried to do during the Logan movie, but then undid during Deadpool and Wolverine. So the idea after Thor Love and Thunder, that's kind of where we're at with the Thor character in general. Like there are only a couple interesting twists on a dramatic level, and the most impactful one you could possibly do for the character is to have him martyr himself, sacrifice himself. If you really think about it, his entire family is in Valhalla right now. Like all the characters that he really loves, like really close to, they're all either dead or gone, like in the case of Old Man Captain America. There was a lot of talk about them doing Thor 5 in the last couple years. Taika Waititi announced that he was basically off the project. Like anything that they wound up doing, all those post-credit scenes for Thor Love and Thunder, I'm not involved with any of the stuff that they're teasing during those. But it did seem like for a while Chris Hemsworth was saying that he would love to do more with the character, but he wanted to go back to a much more hardcore version of Thor. Like he's got way too silly during Thor Love and Thunder, which he acknowledged himself. Like he was a real dude about it. Like, yeah, we went a little too far during that movie. So this was still a couple years ago when they were still doing Avengers 5 as a version of Kang Dynasty with the Council of Kangs. Marvel had not fired Jonathan Majors yet, so there were completely different plans for what Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 were going to be. So at least at that time, it still sounded like Marvel was working with Chris Hemsworth thinking of stories for a Thor 5 potentially, and that was how he was going to redeem the character after the showing during Thor Love and Thunder. Basically, Chris Hemsworth saying that he wasn't going to leave Marvel and the Thor character until they had redeemed the character fully in his eyes.
When Thor Odinson falls from the sky.
So there are a lot of theories about what they were doing with the Hercules post-credit scene or Jane entering Valhalla, seeing Heimdall, and the rest of the characters that had died in the previous Thor movies, previous Marvel movies. Kevin Feige, the Marvel people, the people that were involved in the post-credit scenes actually already answered a lot of the questions about what they were specifically teasing with the different scenes. So the idea with the Hercules post-credit scene is that that was actually setting up a Marvel TV series with the Hercules character, not a brand new Thor 5 movie. So basically all their plans for the Hercules TV series and Brett Goldstein's Hercules character just completely got thrown in the garbage dump. So they could eventually bring the character back in some way at some point, but all the plans that they had for him when they did film that post-credit scene are completely trash now. So at least right now, it's one of the Marvel post-credit scenes that will never get paid off. There have been a couple of those over the years, more so during Marvel Phase 4 for obvious reasons. Looking at you, Kit Harington, Black Knight, and Mahershala Ali Blade. When it comes to the Jane Foster Valhalla post-credit scene, there's a much better chance that they actually pay this off during Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars if they do kill the Thor character off, because that's where he would go. He would just go to Valhalla and see his family again, who have all died. But the idea when they did that post-credit scene is they wanted to tease that Valhalla was a real alternate dimension, just like the Egyptian Duat that people went to when they died based on their belief systems. The whole idea in the MCU is that when you die, it's just a jumping off point, like your consciousness just travels to an alternate dimension based on contracts you have with higher beings like gods, or based on your own personal belief system. For example, when Iron Man died after snapping the Infinity Gauntlet in Endgame, his consciousness would have traveled to a completely different dimension based on what he believed in. I would argue that he's less of an actual believer in the gods and more of an atheist, but it's still the same idea, like his consciousness will still travel to an alternate dimension. This would also pay off that scene that Marvel just teased them paying off on their own channel, The Sun Will Shine on Us Again, brother, when Thor dies, goes to Valhalla, and is reunited with his original Loki that he watched die during Avengers Infinity War. There's also the whole concept of death and rebirth, Ragnarok, in the Marvel comics with Thor and his pantheon of gods. So the idea is that even if they kill Thor off, they can still find ways of explaining how he comes back, along with some of the other characters too.
What I like to call little clues speckled around the place.
But everyone let me know in the comments, does it not feel like, based on Chris Hemsworth's statement, what Marvel is saying on their YouTube channel, that they really do plan on killing the character off during Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars? Just feels like a really easy WTF kind of moment to make it feel like the character has a really strong ending, that he sacrifices himself and gives you the big dramatic twist to make Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom feel like a real credible threat. So there's still a number of options for like super powerful characters out there that Marvel can use during Doomsday and Secret Wars, but I think for the most part we're expecting most people to get killed off during Avengers Doomsday. Like, the body count is going to be crazy high. This totally reminds me of what it was like when Avengers Infinity War was coming around. Like, everybody started posting their death predictions, like who is going to get killed off before Avengers Endgame. But do not be surprised if they do more stuff like this, honoring characters in a way that makes it seem like they're doing a big farewell tour as we head into Avengers Doomsday. So whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do videos about it. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. They're in the middle of doing a bunch of Fantastic Four and Superman stuff this weekend because it is Mexico CCXP Comic-Con. We'll probably get a couple more trailers, maybe some footage for some stuff. So whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do videos about that too. Everybody click here for my brand new Fantastic Four video for that new footage, and click here for my brand new Superman video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.